Me is Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. All right, guys. Today I wanted to tell you something before I get started. Our first live discussion is this Sunday. It's at 2 p.m. When I initially sent out the notification, I had the wrong date. Sunday's date is May 5th. So on Sunday, May 5th, this Sunday coming up, I'm going to be out here at 2 p.m. Eastern for as many of you who want to have a discussion. Now, this is the book we're going to be using for our discussion. And you don't have to have read the book beforehand. All you need to read is page 65 and 66 if you want to, because that's what we're going to be discussing. We're going to be discussing the technique itself of nonviolent communication. So you don't need to know anything but that. You know, we won't have time to go through the whole book. We'll have time to talk about the technique and maybe get some exercises that you can try at home with a partner, because you're going to need a partner. This is a book for couples. So you can use your real partner, or you can just use somebody like your best friend, your cousin, somebody like that. But we'll talk about that more on Sunday if you want to actually try out the technique after you learn it. So again, that is Sunday, May 5th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Meet me here for our first live discussion. Okay? Now, I want to tell you guys another thing. Somebody asked me this question a long time ago. They asked me, do Aquarius have a God complex? And I did a video about that I will link underneath this one. So now, at the same time, they mentioned to me the superiority complex, which is very similar. And then last night, somebody else asked me about it. And I thought to myself, that's an interesting topic. Basically, Aquarius are often accused of having a superiority complex, among other things that we're accused of. We're accused of quite a lot if you pay attention to the internet. And this particular one, the superiority complex, I needed a definition, as always, to figure out exactly what are they asking me. Because anybody of any sun sign, especially somebody of a negative vibration or of a weak vibration, can have any kind of complex or disorder or any of those things. Even people who are just regular people who aren't negative can have a complex of some kind. That's just mental health. So let's take a look at this one. What is a superiority complex? A superiority complex is when you think that you're better than other people. When you carry yourself like you're better than other people, you talk down to other people. You talk down to the waitress. You talk down to the janitor. You talk down to people who are doing, menial labor, things like that, because you feel like you're so up there, And that's the kind of person who has a superiority complex. They always have their nose in the air and they're looking down at the rest of us. So, according to the definition on Google, a person with a superiority complex is usually not that they think they're superior. They act superior. That's the behavior. But the mentality is where the messed up part comes in at. A person with a superiority complex is usually a direct result of an underlying inferiority complex. This is when it gets interesting. Because the person suffers from feelings of inferiority, he or she compensates by moving in the opposite direction, which is acting superior. So this person really feels bad about themselves. This person has their self-esteem probably in the toilet. This person may have been abused. This person may just have a hard time doing things. They might have got, bullied in school. This is the kind of person who feels inferior to other people, but acts snotty, arrogant, and hoity-toity with their nose in the air so that the rest of us won't catch on to the fact that they feel inferior. Now, this is some head shit for your ass, ain't it? This is some head games for you. So, anybody could have this going on inside of them. Anybody who feels inferior. Anybody who feels inferior to other people can have an inferiority complex. Could an Aquarius have an inferiority or a superiority complex that results from the inferiority complex? Yeah, anybody could have this. This is something that anybody can have, and most of us would not know they had this because this is very tricky. If I saw somebody with this, I would just assume they were arrogant. I would just assume they had a big ego and they weren't humble to, the universe. That's what I would assume. I would never assume unless I talk to them. And that's how this kind of person would get diagnosed. Somebody would have to talk to them, some kind of professional, and find out that the underlying reason is an inferiority complex. And then they would say to them, okay, so you walk around acting hoity-toity, you walk around treating people like shit because you feel inferior. You feel like shit on the inside. So it would take somebody to actually diagnose this. So could an Aquarius have this? Yes. Could anybody have this? Yes. Anybody could have this. Now, why specifically is Aquarius being called out for this? I'm going to tell you why they're calling out Aquarius and not maybe Gemini or somebody else, anybody else. They're calling out Aquarius for this because of two things. Aquarius had the tendency to be intelligent. And people don't always like it when your know-it-all ass show up. Some people do. Some people are like, hey, Aquarius is here. They can fix everything. And some people don't like that. They're jealous, or feeling some type of way when your know-it-all ass come walking up with your unsolicited, brilliant advice 9 times out of 10, so that a lot of times is where the problem comes in at. The Aquarius is intelligent. We have really good ideas and creativity. And I would assume, just from working around other people, that some Aquarius are probably arrogant. Some Aquarius are probably ego-driven. I'm sure you're going to find that with some of us. Not all of us, maybe not even many of us, but some of us. So if you come across an Aquarius like that, you can't tell the difference between a superiority complex and arrogance. So maybe the Aquarius doesn't have a superiority complex. They just an arrogant motherfucker. Or they got an ego, It could be one of the two or the three. It could be any of these things. So without getting a psychologist or somebody to diagnose them, you really wouldn't know which one it is. But yeah, anybody could potentially have this, and Aquarius are definitely accused of this because of those facts. Being really smart, being really creative, coming off with a lot of unsolicited advice at times. As we get older, we kind of learn not to do that, those kind of things. And also, like, Aquarius don't like when people come to them with stupid shit. We don't like, drama and little trifles and dumb things. So that could be seen also as a person who feels like they're superior. But it's not being superior to you. If you like to gossip and do those kind of things, that's on you. But I don't want that in my life. So that's not me thinking I'm better than you. That's just me making a different decision than you. I'm choosing something that's, I think, healthier and functional for myself. But a lot of people will take that as a critique on them, you see, because they know they ain't got no business doing it. So they'll take it as a critique on them. So that is why I think that the Aquarius gets accused of this because of those reasons. And if you come across a dark Aquarius, they are pretty arrogant. A dark Aquarius has a tendency to be very arrogant. Though that negative vibration, they have a tendency to be arrogant. So I could see you thinking this. But yeah, the typical Aquarius, I would not say, has this kind of a complex, especially with the complexity of, what it really stands for. Some Aquarius are not as confident as they could be, but usually by the time we start to really, life starts to work for us, we get more confident. So I really wouldn't expect this to be something that an Aquarius had, but I can understand why we've been accused of such because of our Aquarian behavior. So I hope that helps, and thank you so much for the question. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So, if you want to leave me a love donation, I'll leave my PayPal. If you would like to leave me a gift, I will leave my Amazon wish list. If you would like to get a tarot or an oracle card reading, please email me for an appointment. If you have a question for Ask An Aquarius, a general question, I will answer it with no problem. Email it to me. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who's wondering if Aquarius have a superiority complex. It's a very good question. Please pass it on. See you later.